Good morning. Or afternoon, actually. It's afternoon. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm coming to you live from Tasmania, Australia. And I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for this week ahead. So it is currently here, Wednesday the 28th of September, and it is the afternoon. It's 12:50 p.m. So welcome. So while you're coming over, I want to send out an extra special welcome, a big welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support and to help me keep being able to do my work full time and to keep bringing these sorts of videos out to you. So if you enjoy my videos and you've never supported or you haven't supported for a while, please consider having a look on my website and seeing if there's any resources that speak to you, because I'm here because of you. So thank you for helping me still be here. So I trust you're well. It's very interesting energy at this time. It's quite confronting and quite full of the lessons if we're willing to see. So I wrote a lot about that just now in the current energy report that I've just sent out to the Pillar of Light members. So I trust that supports you, and we'll see what comes up in our cards today. So if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to be doing is using my combined Animal Kingdom Oracle cards that have been combined with my Speed of Light Oracle. These are two decks I've made, so I made them the same size so they'll fit together like this. So then we have the choice of combining the decks together and playing with 110 cards, which is lots of fun, I can tell you. This is my favourite deck, which is my favourite combined deck, which is why I use it all the time for all of my readings. So I'll be using this deck to find the best cards for this week ahead. That's this reading week, starting Wednesday the 28th of September 2022 through till Tuesday the 4th of October 2022. So I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust that you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared supports you at this time. So I've been doing readings this way. Well, they've kind of changed a bit over the years, but it's got to be at least a good 10 years, 10 if not longer, that I've been doing regular readings. So it used to be once a month on YouTube, and then I think I did a couple of years doing it every second day. And then for the last couple of years, I've been doing them weekly. And it went from Monday starting the week to Wednesday starting the week based on my new schedule. So let's see what this week potentially holds for us. Last week's theme was the butterfly, a dreamy energy, but also lots of transformation, and lots of things have been changing. I mean, things that were quite happy going down a certain path seems to have suddenly just sort of flipped over almost overnight. So there is this sort of change in the air, this transformation, this shift that's really coming from us. So lots of shift in attitude, shift in behavior, our shift in even the issues that we've been carrying that have been tainting areas of our life. So lots of changes at the moment. So you might be amidst that. I don't know how to say that properly. You might be in the middle of that right now. So, but let's turn our focus now to this new reading week. So I'm looking for the best cards for Wednesday, the 28th of September through till Tuesday, the 4th of October. And I'm holding that intention while I shuffle the cards. And I trust that the best cards will find their way to the top of the deck based on the way I choose my cards. So the best cards for the majority of us for this week, the 28th of September through to the 4th of October, are these. So let's face, I'm just going to duck down here. I'm going to put these face down here. Okay, we've got a ton of Speed of Light here. A Speed of Light Oracle. We've got 2 Animal Kingdom and 5 Speed of Light Oracle. So let's turn these guys over. Okay, So first of all, take a nice big breath, because we need to, the first thing I'm going to talk about shortly is the pressure that we're putting on ourselves. So before I get into that, if feel like you're under pressure, like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders and you're dealing with a lot right now, personal, or maybe even things in your family, things connected with your community, your country, even things just connecting with the world. If you feel pressured right now for whatever reason, take some big deep breaths and really think about letting that pressure go. We've got one featured card, so I'm going to honour that first, and then we'll talk more about that pressure kind of energy. I'm not surprised this card's come up, because I was actually thinking of it this morning when I was laying in bed, and it's card 46 called Sensuality. It's a featured card. So it has further instructions here, which say to breathe deeply and choose a random card. So I'm going to fan the cards out and go to this card here. Animal Kingdom. Oh, we've got another featured card. It's a featured timing card, which again has further instructions here. And this says to take the 4th card from the top of the deck. So I'll go back to my deck that I just fanned out. And I now go down to card 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got a Speed of Light Oracle. Oh, yes, this is so not surprising. It's the Tree Maiden. I think the Tree Maiden came up last week. But, okay, we'll talk about that group of 3 cards a bit later. First of all, we need to talk about this pressure that we've been putting onto ourselves, most likely. For Wednesday, the 28th of September, we have card 28. Snap. Card 28 for the 28th, and it's called Delegate. And it says ask, plan, organise, and assistance. And the main energy in this card is about pressure. So sometimes we need to get more organised to help reduce our stress levels. Sometimes we need to delegate chores or ask for help to take the pressure off ourselves. But ultimately, this card is about the pressure that we feel that we're under. And like I said before, whether it's personal or connected with a group or a family or connected with our area, our country, the world, doesn't matter where this sits. If you feel worried about the world or worry about the world situation, that's a pressure that you've got on you. If you feel worried about your life situation or making changes that you don't feel that comfortable in making, but you know you have to, pressure. There might be a lot of things that you've got going on at work or in your daily life or looking after your family that is creating a pressure. So it's a bit like, and I do this because it feels to me like a world, like the planet here, just sitting really heavy over us, and we're trying so hard to balance things and keep this kind of steady. You know, like if we carry a heavy bag or a heavy backpack for a while, and it just ends up weighing down on our shoulders. So sometimes, or no, I do, I put my hands underneath just to help take just a little bit of that weight if it's getting really heavy. And that's sort of what this feels like. So first of all, maybe think about, what are you feeling pressured by or stressed by? Because stress is also a pressure. Also, overwhelm is a pressure. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, what are you feeling overwhelmed about? So what are you feeling overwhelmed, stressed out about, or worried about? Same sort of thing. Or pressured by. What is this? What does this represent? This big heavy thing that you're trying to manage and that you're trying to juggle and that you're trying to hold, that you're trying to figure out. What is it? Now, is this something that can, do you feel like that you've got to do everything in regards to this situation? Can you spread the load a bit, is I guess the question I'm asking. Are there other people that might be able to help you out? Can you take this big ball, this big sphere, this big world that you've been carrying, can you take it off and slice it up into pieces and ask other people to help you with these things? Are these things really important? Because sometimes things are really important to us and other people don't give a fig about. So I guess first of all, once we take this pressure off and we look at it more clearly, what parts of this pressure and what this represents, what are the important parts? And it might be important for our survival. Okay, that's important to keep. If it's just something superficial, is that really that important? No, let's get rid of it. So let's really refine and work out what are the parts of what we feel pressured by that are worth keeping, are needed. So people in our care, like a sick child or a sick partner, or our own health, these are things that are priority regarding our survival. So these are things that will need to stay. But there can be other little silly things that are important to us that really are not that important in the grand scheme of things. So if we can divide up that pressure that we feel that we're under, maybe allocate some chores or delegate some chores if need to, or some tasks to other people if possible, or is there a way we can organise ourselves better? Can we organise our time better? Can we do something regularly, daily, weekly, or something that helps organise things a bit better to potentially take that pressure off? So delegation, delegating chores, asking for help, getting organised, but really closely looking at what we're feeling pressured by is important for Wednesday. Now, Thursday, the 29th, we have card 55, the Jellyfish. And the Jellyfish says vulnerable, flow, sensitive, and protection. Not really surprised this card's come up either, because there is a general sense of sensitivity around. So there is a sensitivity and amplification, which I'm going to talk more about soon, because we've literally got the amplification magnifying card, the tree maiden. So that's going to be talked about more in depth shortly. But things are amplified at the moment. Things are under the magnifying glass. And anytime that happens, there is a heightened sensitivity that goes with it. So we might find that we're overreacting to things. We might find that we have strong feelings about something that's going on in our life that just seem to come up like they've been sitting and boiling and brewing within us for a long period of time, and suddenly they just kind of burst out as tears or anger or laughter or whatever it might, however that energy might want to be expressed. So we might continue to feel, and I say continue because we've been feeling it, we might continue to feel quite sensitive into Thursday. So it's really important for us to do our best to flow with this, because the more sensitive we are, these emotions are trying to get our attention. So we can learn from them or grow from them or shift out of issues that might be tied in with that emotion or whatever that might be connected there. There is reason for feeling this way. So what is it? And when we look at it and confront in some ways that emotion, then that helps us understand what the issue is or what the problem is or whatever this emotion is responding to, so we can do something about it, and then the emotion calms down. Anytime things are amplified or under the magnifying glass, if you feel that now, I know there's a lot of people that do, there is this general energy around, things are amplified, things are blown out of proportion, things are bigger and louder than really what they really are, or in some ways bigger and louder than what they really are. So let's keep perspective, but let's be careful we're not running away from our sensitivity and our heightened emotions, and let's confront it and look at it and sit in it and feel it and see what is it trying to teach us. What in our life is not currently working and maybe hasn't been for a while that our emotions and our sensitivity are trying to show us that we may have been ignoring. Now, moving into Friday, the 30th of September, we have the Healed card, card 34. It says golden light, wounds, blocks, and dissolve. This is physical body healing. So some of us may need maybe healing for our body on Friday. So it may even be Thursday and into Friday. Some of us may need some recovery, rest, healing time for our body at the moment. But this is especially amplified or supportive, let's say, for Friday. So if your body needs healing, if you've been going through something or you're recovering from a surgery or something, then this is certainly for you. But on an energetic level, especially with the intensity of stuff that's going on, the pressure, the sensitivity already talked about, and there's more to come. And just what I know is around all this death energy, change energy, this destructive energies around as well, which also brings creativity eventually. There's a lot that we're healing personally. So like our self-healing, releasing our issues, releasing our fears, our insecurities, the things that are affecting our balance negatively, or the parts of our life that haven't been working for a while that we've been ignoring or avoiding or trying to run away from. These things are coming to the forefront now. So there is potentially some healing around too for us energetically to really look at ourselves, to look at our life more seriously, look at how our body is reacting and responding to our relationships, our life situation, our work situation as well, maybe our health, maybe the stresses that we can't seem to get away from. How are these affecting us physically? And what can we do to support the healing that our body needs? So physical healing, energetic healing on Friday. Whoa, okay, we're starting the new month with quite intense energy here. So Saturday the 1st of October, and we have our featured cards that came up before. So we've got 3 in this run of featured cards. I'm going to talk about them separately first, and then we'll look at their relationship together because they have come up together for a reason. So this is for Saturday, the 1st of the new month. Like I said when this card came up, this is not surprising. This is so how I was feeling just this morning. And it's card 46 called Sensuality. And it says love, breath, relationship, and passion. And this card's very much about, how do I start this? It's very much about reinflating ourselves with life force again after a period of feeling deflated and flat and hopeless and helpless and small, discouraged, and just generally low. So this is like a revival of our energy. So if we've become, or we've got to this point maybe at this time where we're feeling like a deflated balloon and life has just been drained out of us and we don't feel like that excited about life, we might not even care much anymore because we just feel so flat within ourselves, so lifeless. This card is about really looking at how we can bring and ignite life back into ourselves again. And the key to it really is through our breath. Our breath, and really focusing on our breath to help shift our attitude and to really look at the things that are working for us, the things to be grateful for, the people that are there. We're spending a lot of time in general, but lately looking at what's missing, what that person's not doing, and putting expectations onto things and expectations onto people that are not being met. And then that leads to disappointment, and then we continue to feel flatter and deflated. So how can you breathe life back into yourself again? Like you're reviving yourself, like you're zapping yourself with the defibrillator thing that I don't know how to say properly. But you know, if you feel lifeless, if your heart is lifeless, if you don't feel like life is anything exciting right now, how can you reignite yourself, revive yourself, breathe life back into yourself again? Because there is so much to be grateful for. So see if you can switch your attitude, and we might find this very favourable for Saturday. So that's the sensuality card. Second card is Stellar Cycle, card 55. This is a featured timing card, and it talks about 1 year. Talks about the long term. The long term. So let's look at these 2 cards to begin with together. You know, how long over the course of your life, over the next year or the rest of, over the good part of a year or the years to come, how much longer are you going to let yourself feel flat and deflated and low and lifeless and just like you're a robot going about life? How well is that working for you? And how long do you want to be feeling that way? It could be same in like relationships that have long expired that we haven't had the courage to change yet because of all the implications and the repercussions that happen from making such changes. And we might be dragging our feet on something that we know we've got to change. We know it. We feel it in our heart. How long are we going to keep keeping this in the back of our mind, in the background? How long are we going to just keep waiting on this? So there is potential for this flat energy to last quite a period of time if we don't do things about it to help revive ourselves. Give yourself something to look forward to. Learn a new skill. Find a hobby or go back into a hobby that you love to do but you haven't done it for a while. There are so many things at our fingertips, really, with our phones, quite literally, that we could be learning and growing from or discovering that can help us feel excited about life again. So if you want to feel that way, then the energy is very favourable to really look at it seriously on Saturday and to look at it over the long term. So this will be a great time to, okay, I've always wanted to learn this thing. Okay, I'm going to look this up. I'm going to see if there's classes or anything in the area, or if I'm going to learn this online. I'm going to look at this now for the long term, because my long-term sense of connection with my life is really important. So that's those two cards. But let's add now this third card in, the Tree Maiden, card 42 actually, card 42, the Tree Maiden. And it says, ending, surrender, growth, and illumination. So this is this potent card I was talking about. Things been under the magnifying glass, things been under the spotlight, things blown out of proportion, and it's everywhere at the moment. It's not just for Saturday, because it's been present for, or probably for some of us, for a week or two, where things just seem so loud, and we might be really struggling to cope, actually, to keep any sort of sanity in our daily life, because things are very intense. And we can roll around in that intensity if we're not careful, in the big feelings that we have, or the bitterness, or the frustration, the blame, the feeling hard done by, or like we've got the worst life in existence. Things could always be worse. So sometimes, and when we see that things getting worse, then we think, wow, this means no offense to anyone. It's a bit like, for decades everything was made in China, and we thought, wow, things are really bad quality, made in China, and now they're being made in other countries, and it's like, whoa, can we have them made in China again, because the quality is even worse? Well, I know that's what I've been noticing the last few years. So, things can always be worse. So what can you appreciate about what's going on now, and how can you get out of rolling around in the intensity? Because we have this, for some reason, this, I don't even know if it's a need or a desire, but this reaction or something to roll around in the intensity and the strong emotion. And then we just kind of suffer and feel bitter even deeper and even stronger and in louder ways. So the louder something is, it's trying to get our attention. So are you listening to it, or are you wallowing in it? Are you sitting in it? Are you hovering in it? If you are hovering and wallowing, then what can you learn about this intensity so you can move through? Because it's an opportunity to move, but it has a tendency to have us stick and stuck and feel stagnant. So what do you need to learn from this loud thing at this time? How is it prompting you to change? What's it helping you see from a different perspective? So, yes, very loud. So we've got these three cards together. So in general, it's talking about breathing life back into ourselves again over the long term. And it's probably going to require something coming to an end. A door may need to close in our life. And I feel those who this message is for will know, because you've probably known that something needs to end, something's door needs to close for a while now, and maybe you haven't had the courage to do that. So if you want things to start improving, changes need to be made, and this will improve over the long term. If we don't close the door or make the changes, we're going to continue to feel flat and deflated and unloved, unsupported. So it's up to us really to, okay, let's just do what we know we have to do. Let's stop putting it off. Now we move to Sunday, the 2nd of October, and we have the Yogi, card 32, and it says Epiphany, learn, lead, and comprehend. This is the penny dropping. So yes, actually, this is really good because it's like finally we get it. Like, how loud does something have to be before we get it? And it feels like by the time we get to Sunday, most of us have potentially at least in favourable energy to get it. You know, the penny drops when we least expect it. We might be doing something really mundane and something drops. We just forget about the problem for a minute and we're focusing on something else, and then suddenly the answer comes and we see why that had to happen that way, or what needs to change, or what the next step's going to be. So this is really exciting news, especially coming off this intense sort of energy too. So the penny drops in Epiphany potentially for Sunday, which is great. Monday, the 3rd of October, we've got the zebra, card 22, and it says alternative options. So this is suggesting that there might be other options or solutions or opportunities available that we might not have been considering or realize. So if you're dealing with something that's going on and you're looking for solutions or options, then maybe think about looking at this situation from other angles and other perspectives. Look from it from all different sides to help you see and consider as many options as possible. It doesn't mean you're going to go with all of the options, but I think if you have a lot of options, then you can kind of refine those options down to the one that works best for you. If you've only got one option and it's not really that favourable, then, you know, that's not 100% ideal. But if you've got 10 options and let's say 8 of them are no good, then you've probably got 2 good options that you could potentially consider. So think about your options. And sometimes we have options and we don't realise we do. So what are your options? This may be something coming up for some of us on Monday. Now, this is a good way an exciting way to end this reading week. We've got for Tuesday the 4th, card 8, the fox. And the fox says to find a way. This is very much about finding a way to carve out a new path for ourselves. To find a way through the jungle, through the maze, through the labyrinth, to find a way through the weeds that we've been hovering around in and spending too much time and attention on for long enough based on our determination and what we determine is right for us. So there is a sense here of determination, of willpower, and of clarity that's also coming in, that's sort of prompting us, or I can feel this energy moving from the solar plexus. So right down there in our power center, this sense of courage, of confidence, of clarity, of kind of knowing what we need to do next and how to carve at least this first part of the next phase of our path out. So how or what do you need to do to carve this path out for yourself, and how can you find a way to make this happen? It may come with the options that you're considering or open to. Is the way you're going the best way you could be going? Are there potentially other better options out there for you? Have you settled for second best? And maybe you might think that that's all you deserve, but maybe there's something better out there for you. So consider keeping your options open, but also there is a determination feeling that's coming in as we're really encouraged to find a way to make this work, to find a way to carve out this new path for ourselves, to find a way to make these changes happen or these improvements that we are inspired to make in our life. So a very intense beginning few days here in this reading week, so really up until probably the beginning of October. But then it's almost like things come to a head, you know, like a bit like things have been simmering underneath the surface, like a volcano just kind of brewing in there, and the pressure is kind of building and building and building, but nothing's really showing up. And then there might be some type of explosion, which may even show up as a confrontation or an argument or some quite brutal confronting moment. that kind of brings things out in the open, and almost an explosion of energy that's coming up that potentially then lets it. So this is a release of pressure. It allows things to settle. It allows things to change. So we have to be willing to let our hold go so that we can let things move and let things change and evolve. So it may feel kind of like a very long week. It feels like quite jam-packed with things this week, but also great potential to change. So that's always good. So thanks so much for joining me today. I'm going to pull a theme card in just a moment. Before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this connection, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment or share if you're inspired to. And if you would like to connect more privately, then please send us a message through our website. So I have coming up my next card reading club on the 14th of October, and we're talking, or our theme is for me. So we're going to be looking at what we need as individuals, and we're going to be sort of consulting the cards together for our own personal spread to really figure out what we need. So what do we need to nurture us? What do we need to help us feel more excited about life? What's holding us back? All these sorts of things. And then also on the 14th of October is my next online art class. And I'm going to be guiding you through drawing my Tree of Life drawing from the Healing Energy cards. That beautiful earthy goddess that's got the beautiful pregnant belly. So I'm going to guide you through that, which is very exciting. I haven't done that before, so I'm excited to do that. So if you'd like to draw with me, then please have a look at my online art class. Both of them can be found on my website at templeofbalance.com.au. If you want to grab yourself a deck of cards or a pendant, some earrings, some artwork, or anything like that, I've got lots of resources on my website. So please check it out. So let's grab our best theme card. The theme card will help bring these days together and help us see the bigger picture for this week ahead as we transition from September into October. So nice big breath. The best card the majority of us need for our theme for this week is another Speed of Light Oracle. And it's this, card 18 called New Pathways. And it says options, funny, children, birth, choice, and life's path. This is again talking about options. There are options. So be careful that you don't have tunnel vision on something. And this can really stick us. This can help us feel stagnant and stuck and roll around in the intensity and the difficulties of what we might be going through, is this tunnel vision. So be careful you're not thinking that this is the way it is, or this is how this person is, or this is how this situation is, or be careful you're not tunnel visioned or being stubborn in your stance on something this week, because that will hold you stuck. That will hold you stagnant. If you're sick of being stagnant and stuck, then I suggest you consider if you've got blinkers on, if you've got tunnel vision, and if you realise you have, that's a great thing to realise. Take the blinkers off, expand your tunnel vision and expand your horizon. What can you see out there in a big horizon instead of just looking through your binoculars or your telescope in one tiny section of the horizon? So be careful that you don't have that tunnel vision. Expand your options, expand your horizon, expand your viewing range this week so that you can find a way out of your problem and find a solution to your problem and find a breakthrough at this time where things feel low and heavy and you just feel like you're rolling around in the mud and you can't get up or you can't get out. There is a way out and there is a way up. So be careful that you're not holding yourself there unintentionally and pitting yourself down because of your tunnel vision. So keep your options open, recognize there are choices that you have here and that your life path is very, very important. It's extremely important to you. So if you've been dragging your feet for too long, what can you do to revive things for yourself again and create some new pathways and new options? This is also a great time to start something new for you. So a hobby, learning something new, taking a skill you've got to the next level, and reaching for more, increasing your standards, improving yourself, finding joy in life. These sorts of things feel enticing, and this will help lift us out of that stagnant, heavy place. So I'll leave that with you. See how you go, and come back, connect with the reading throughout the week if you need to get your bearings. As things change, things are going to happen probably quite quickly unless we hold ourselves stagnant, and then it will happen very slowly. So things might happen quickly as we awoken up to the truth and be honest with ourselves. So thank you so much for connecting. Have a great week ahead. I'll be back to share with you again very soon. Take care of yourself, and namaste.